Injuries. They're just part of any sport, really. But while playing the highly intense physical game on ice that we all know and love, injuries just come with the territory. Some players, like Phil Kessel, have managed to evade the IR, while others have seemingly watched their windows fade while on the sidelines. In this video, I'm going to go over a few current NHL players that are extremely injury-prone. And with that, here are 4 NHL players that are always injured.
Fragile. It must be Italian.
When Ben Bishop was initially traded from Tampa, many from the outside looking in as to why the franchise would send a goalie to Los Angeles, initially that was responsible for leading his team to both the Stanley Cup Finals and Conference Finals in a short amount of time, were skeptical. But for Bishop, who went down awkwardly in the opening contest of a series against Pittsburgh, this was just the beginning of a long list of various injuries that would keep the netminder sidelined for much of his career moving forward. Following the initial injury that Bishop endured, the goaltender would return for the next campaign to record drastically different numbers from the ones that had him in the Vezina conversation the season before. As a netminder, 22 games into the 2016-17 season, was sporting a 9-10-2 record with a .907 save percentage. But seemingly like clockwork, Bishop went down yet again against Detroit in December with a lower body injury. And around a few months later, just like that, the goaltender was shipped to Los Angeles, shortly before being acquired by Dallas. Regardless, the injury bug seemingly followed the netminder to the Lone Star State, as he has been plagued by a slew of injuries since. Bishop, who was out in March, shortly prior to the break, has also missed most of the play while in the bubble for Dallas, as backup Anton Khudobin has stepped up between the pipes. Bishop's former teammate and current Lightning captain, Steven Stamkos, has been the poster boy for injury-prone throughout his decade spent in the NHL thus far. But at the beginning of the forward's career, his future looked much brighter, as he, during his sophomore season, was able to capture the Rocket Richard Trophy upon netting an impressive 51 goals. And in 2012 as well, after recording a career high of 60 tucks. But after playing 3 82-game seasons and not missing a game before the lockout, Stamkos in November of 2013 had to be stretchered off the ice prior to breaking his leg. This would limit the forward to only participating in 37 contests on the season. Even still, number 91 returned to play a full season for the Lightning, only to sustain a lateral meniscus tear in his knee that forced him to limp his way to the locker room in Detroit of 2016. This was the last game the captain would play until the following season. Fast forward to the present time, and Stamkos, who was in and out of the lineup in February, returned to be reportedly limited at training camp with a lower body issue. The Lightning, however, similarly to the Stars, have managed without him thus far. But the captain's return could be imminent, as he has been skating but not yet practicing with the team.
Bjugstad is a guy that has shown an ability to score in this league. He brings more size to our team and a whole lot of skill. I think Jared McCann is another young player that can really skate, good penalty killer, can help us become harder to play against. So they're 2 guys that we think can fit into the lineup here and have the ability to play the type of game that we're trying to play. We're real excited about these guys. We think they're going to make us a better team.
When Nick Bjugstad made his way to Pittsburgh, the forward was intended to be the answer at center, as the role previously filled behind Crosby and Malkin was in need of fresh blood. But it wasn't long after the Penguins acquired him that the injury bug began to bite, as number 27 was sidelined early last season after netting a single goal with a core muscle injury that required surgery. Bjugstad began skating after rehab in January, before silently stopping for a few weeks. But in late February, the Minnesota native made his long-awaited return, only to be sidelined yet again 3 games later. The forward, who was only able to register 1 point on the season, was thought to be one of the few, like Jake Getzel, who would greatly benefit initially from the pause in play. Instead, bad luck or not, Bjugstad stayed in Pittsburgh instead of participating up north, after receiving spinal surgery that gave the forward a recovery window of 8 weeks minimum. Therefore, for Jim Rutherford, the decision, from a third-party perspective, on trading Bjugstad to Minnesota was thoroughly justifiable. But retaining half his salary, well, that's a different story entirely. Prior to the 2017-18 season beginning, number 58 entered the season with a plethora of past injuries. Since being drafted by the Penguins in 2005, Letang, following his call-up from Wilkes-Barre, would go on to sustain multiple concussions, a broken toe, broken foot, broken hand, an elbow infection, groin and knee injuries, and unspecified lower and upper body injuries. And at that point in time, up to 2017, the defenseman had missed nearly 2 seasons of play, while having to sit out for 153 contests. Even still, Letang was able to play most of the 2017-18 campaign for Pittsburgh, before succumbing yet again to injury, after colliding with an opposing player in early December of 2018. Last season, after being on the long-term injury reserve for another lower body injury, Letang rejoined his team to finish out the shortened season. As trade talk has circulated throughout the hockey world due to the eventual huge shakeup that Rutherford has warned about, many have questioned Letang's current value. Due to the continuous lingering injuries sustained, Letang has been unable to play a full season in almost a decade, as the last time he played 82 games was during the 2010-11 campaign. Therefore, as impactful as he's been for the Burgh over the years, it still begs the question, how much better could his career have been in retrospect?